Good morning, all of you. In the last class, we studied about we discussed about some problems based on the simple pulley systems. And so now let us see about this frame of reference, and then we discuss about that pseudo force, right? And so now this, first of all, this frame of reference is nothing but a simple coordinate system or a reference with which we are defining a position of a particle or the event taking place between the two instants in either three-dimensional or in two-dimensional. So that reference coordinate system is nothing but we call it as a frame of reference, right? So in that frame of reference, generally two types of frame of reference are there. So one is inertial frame of reference and other is non-inertial frame of reference, right? So first just write the frame of reference definition. And after that we will define this inertial, what is inertial and what is non-inertial frame of reference. So frame of reference, it is a simple coordinate system which is used to define position of a particle or an event takes place in two-dimensional or three-dimensional space. In two-dimensional or three-dimensional space. You know our usual coordinate system we are taking like x, y, z, Cartesian coordinate system. So then next let us write that the frame of reference is of two types. One is inertial frame of reference and other is non-inertial frame of reference. And so now first see about this inertial frame of reference here. So keep citing that inertial frame of reference. So simply that inertial frame of reference means we can define it as the frame of reference in which the Newton's laws are valid. If the Newton's laws of motion are valid in a frame of reference, then we call it as an inertial frame of reference. So inertial frame of reference will be generally either at rest or moving with uniform velocity. So that means acceleration of that frame of reference should be zero, and that is why that inertial frame of reference are also called non-accelerating frame of references. So is it clear? The frame of reference which is at rest or moving in an with a uniform velocity. Suppose if you are doing some experiment in a truck, if the truck is at rest, then you can call it as an inertial frame of reference. And if you are accelerating, that means if you are moving with the constant velocity without acceleration, then you can call that the reference in which you are doing that experiment, you can call it as a inertial frame of reference. So either it should be either at rest with respect to an inertial frame, or it should move with some uniform velocity. Acceleration should be zero. So that means then that is our inertial frame of reference here. So just to mention that the frame of reference in which Newton's laws of motion are valid, the frame of reference in which the Newton's laws of motion are valid is called inertial frame of reference. Inertial frame of reference. The frame of reference which is at rest, or moving with uniform velocity, with respect to another inertial frame is also inertial frame. As the acceleration of this frame of reference is zero, it is also called non-accelerating frame of reference, or non-accelerating or unaccelerated. That means non-accelerating frame of reference. So that is about this inertial frame of reference here. So next let us see about this non-inertial frame of reference. So simply what we can define is the frame of reference in which the Newton's laws are not valid. So that means in this non-inertial frame of reference, The Newton's laws of motion are not valid here. And so that means such a frame of reference is said to be a non-inertial frame of reference. So simply what we can say, it is an accelerating frame of reference here. So that means if the frame of reference is accelerating, then we can call it as a non-inertial frame of reference. So in this, what we can define is, if you are taking a frame of reference which is rotating, so every rotating object will possess definitely some acceleration. So one acceleration must be there for that rotating objects there, which is nothing but we call centripetal acceleration directed towards the center, right? And so that every rotating object or every rotating frame of reference is a non-inertial frame of reference only, right? So that means it is because it is having some acceleration there. So whenever the frame of reference is having some acceleration, it is non-inertial frame. And so then according to this, can you say our earth is either inertial frame of reference or non-inertial frame of reference? Earth. So earth is a non-inertial frame of reference. So because it is rotating about its own axis and also rotating about the sun here, and so it is non-inertial frame of references. But actually for the practical, most of the practical purposes, we assume that as a inertial frame of reference. So actually it is a non-inertial frame of reference. That means if they ask the frame of reference attached to the earth is either inertial or non-inertial, means you need to answer it as a non-inertial frame of reference only, because it is rotating about its own axis and also rotates about the sun. That is the reason, right? And so as this frame of reference is an accelerating motion, and so these frames are also called accelerating frame of references here. So it is non-inertial frame of reference or accelerating frame of reference. That is another name for this. So write about that. Non-inertial frame of reference. The frame of reference in which Newton's laws are not valid. The frame of reference in which Newton's laws are not valid is called non-inertial frame of reference. Is called non-inertial frame of reference. It is, that means all the non-inertial frame of reference, or accelerating frame of, or accelerating with respect to inertial frame, of reference. And so these are also called accelerating frame of reference. These are also called accelerating frame of reference. Next, you can mention that all rotating frame of references are non-inertial frames. All rotating frame of references are non-inertial. Therefore, Earth is a non-inertial frame of reference. Earth is a non-inertial frame of reference as it rotates about its own axis and also about sun, and also rotates about the sun. But for all practical purposes, we assume it as inertial frame. Now let us take an example here about this inertial and non-inertial frame of references, right? Suppose here I am taking the case like on a smooth horizontal surface, a large plank is there. This is of say mass m and it is moving here. Now a small block of mass m is kept on it. And let us consider that both are moving together. These two blocks are moving together without any relative slipping between them, right? So this system is accelerating here. This is say accelerating with acceleration a naught. The system is accelerating with acceleration a naught. And now that this block is observed by the two observers, let us say one observer is standing on this plank here, large plank, and other is standing on this ground here. So let us name this, he is A and he is B. Now we need to describe the situation, that means the motion of this block M, small m, with respect to the observer A and with respect to the observer B. So now observer A is in non-inertial frame, right? Because he is an accelerating frame of reference, because this total he is standing on the plank and the total plank is accelerating. But the observer B is standing on the earth. So as I said, earth we consider it as a, even though it is a non-inertial frame, but for all practical purposes we consider it as an inertial only. So that means we need to take that B as that observer B is an inertial frame of reference, right? And so now we need to discuss about the motion of this object with respect to those two objects. How the block appears with respect to B first of all. So with the given condition is, what I am giving is, it is a smooth object here, that means the surface is a smooth surface. The total M and capital M and small m are moving together with some acceleration without any relative slipping between them. So write that, take it as an example and first describe the situations there. Consider a large plank of mass M, capital M, and a small block of mass M, small m, are moving together without any relative slipping between them, with an acceleration a naught, as shown in figure. Now consider observer A, two observers A and B. Consider two observers A and B. A is in non-inertial frame or accelerating frame of reference and B is in inertial frame of reference. So now I am solving first I am writing the force equations for this small m with respect to this B. So that means with respect to B, or which is nothing but inertial frame, with respect to inertial frame of reference. So we are writing that equations. Now I am writing this FBD of M, FBD of this block M with respect to this earth. So then this is the, let us write the force equations, forces acting on them. So then vertical forces will be there, but those are not important for us because they are not involved in our motion here. So let us write these two forces will be there, normal reaction and M. And in addition to that, with respect to this observer B, this block M is having some acceleration here. So it is moving with some acceleration because it is given that these two are together moving with the common acceleration there. And so that this block is moving with some acceleration here with respect to the observer B. So definitely some force must be, real force must act on this here. And so that real force here is frictional force will be there here. Right? So that frictional will be there between those two blocks, and about the friction directions we will discuss it later. Just some force will be there which should accelerate this small m in forward direction there. So that force is nothing but here frictional force will be there, right? And so then we can write the force equation here as F is equal to MA or MA naught. So this is the force equation with respect to this inertial frame of reference. Now let us write about the non-inertial frame of reference. So now that means with respect to the observer B. Now I am discussing the motion of this object with respect to the observer A, and which is nothing but non-inertial frame. So about this non-inertial frame, now I am writing here. Now can you say with respect to that non-inertial frame, is this block is either at rest or moving with respect to this observer B? So say observer B is standing at one end, back end, and the block is placed at the front end. And so now as I said, there is no slipping between the block and this plank here. And so that for always for the observer A, it is at the front end only. So the distance of the block from the observer A does not change, right? Because A is also standing on that large plank only. and so that with respect to him this block should be at rest because its position is not changing with respect to him, and so that with respect to him the block is at rest. The block is at rest means net force acting on it must be 0, right? And so that if you write the forces acting on this, mg, one force, and this is the normal reaction, and this is the frictional force, right? And so now with respect to him, but it should be at rest. So now only if you are taking these forces here, so then if you are taking only those three forces are acting on this block, is it possible to keep the body at rest? Is it the equilibrium is possible if you are taking only these three forces? These are the real forces. Real forces are always present whether you are taking inertial frame or non-inertial frame. There is no change in that real forces. Real forces will be always present, right? And so that these real forces are acting. These are the three forces acting which are already we mentioned in this inertial frame. So once you are mentioning those forces in inertial frame means those are the real forces. So whatever the frame you are taking, those real forces must be present. So they won't change if you are changing the frame of reference. Real forces will be always present. But here with the help of these three forces, the equilibrium of the object is not possible, right? Because even though these two forces will balance with each other, but this F is an unbalanced force here. So that means here this is F is unbalanced force. If no other force is there, the system should accelerate. But here for the observer A, the block appears at rest only. So the block appears at rest means there should be the other force which is balancing that, right? So that force is not there in inertial frame. So here, but that force must be present here to keep that object at rest. So then that force is nothing but we consider it as pseudo force. That means now we are introducing an imaginary force. Is it clear? Why we are introducing that imaginary force means to validate that Newton's second law. Otherwise now here the Newton's second law fails here. If you are not introducing that imaginary force, the Newton's second law fails because here net force acting on this object is not 0 but the body is in equilibrium. So net force is not equal to 0 but still the body is in equilibrium. That means acceleration is 0. F net is not equal to 0 but acceleration is 0 with respect to that observer A. That means Newton's second law fails here. So in order to make it valid, now we need to take an imaginary force. That imaginary force is nothing but we called a pseudo force or a fictitious force. So that means now here we need to take an imaginary force in this backward direction here. So now that imaginary force is nothing but ma0. So this we called a pseudo force. So this is a pseudo force here, right? So that ma0 is a pseudo force. So then here now under the action of these forces now the object is in equilibrium. So now as the object is in equilibrium, now along horizontal direction we can write this equation as F is equal to ma0. The equation is F is equal to ma0. Is it clear? So now you can observe that our final conclusion, that means final equations are same, either you are solving with respect to inertial frame or with respect to non-inertial frame. There also we are getting F is equal to ma0 and here also we are getting F is equal to ma0, right? So the final equations are same. That means if a problem is given to you, you can solve either with respect to inertial frame or with respect to non-inertial frame. The final result will be same. The final answer what you are getting will be same whether you are solving with respect to inertial or with respect to non-inertial, but the approach will be different. The approach means the situation will be different. Here the situation is the object is in accelerating motion. Here the situation is this object is in equilibrium. So that the situation of that objects will be different but the final result will be same only whether you are solving with respect to inertial or with respect to non-inertial frame. So that means now here in order to from this you should understand that whenever you want to solve the problem from non-inertial frame of reference and whenever you are applying that Newton's second law, in order to make that Newton's second law valid, we need to take this pseudo force. If you are not taking that pseudo force in non-inertial frame, Newton's second law does not valid. Is it clear? So that means whenever you are solving the problem from non-inertial frame, definitely you should consider this pseudo force, right? Now the question is how to take that pseudo force. So when to take the pseudo force means clear. When to take the pseudo force? When you are solving the problem from non-inertial frame. When you are solving from non-inertial frame, definitely we should consider the pseudo force. And when you are solving from inertial frame, you should not consider the pseudo force. If you are taking pseudo force here, you will get the wrong answer. So you should not consider the pseudo force in non-inertial frame, inertial frame. You should consider the pseudo force in, you must consider the pseudo force in non-inertial frame, right? So that is when you need to take that means. Now how to take that pseudo force means, it is always opposite to the acceleration of the frame of reference. So here the frame of reference is our Planck. Planck is the frame of reference. It is accelerating towards right here. Is it clear? So the pseudo force now we should take in towards left. We should take in opposite direction. And then how much force we should take? How much force we should take means, we should take mass of the object on which we are taking the pseudo force into the acceleration of the frame of reference we need to take. The mass of the object into the product of mass of the object into, and then this acceleration of the frame of reference. That gives a magnitude of the pseudo force. So that is about the pseudo force here, right? So first write this situation here and then mention this. Just here write this with respect to inertial frame. With respect to inertial frame, the FBD of the block M is given as shown, and therefore the force equation is given like this. You can copy this one as it is. So then for this, with respect to non-inertial frame, so first take this free body diagram without taking this pseudo force here. Without taking pseudo force, first take the free body diagram, and after writing about that, then introduce that pseudo force here. So with respect to non-inertial frame, the forces acting on that frame of reference, the real forces acting on that object are, the real forces acting on this object are mg, F and normal reaction. But for the observer A, the block appears to be at rest. But for observer A, the block appears to be at rest. And so there should be another force acting on the block to keep it in equilibrium. That force is nothing but we call pseudo force. Pseudo force means imaginary, which is not associated with any agent. Pseudo force, also called fictitious force, imaginary force. Now you may draw the diagram again, and then you can write this equation. Pseudo, that means you can represent this one, which is a pseudo force here. So as the object is in equilibrium or object is at rest, therefore F is equal to ma naught. F is equal to ma naught. Therefore mention that. Therefore final result will be same. Final result will be same when we are solving either with respect to inertial or with respect to non-inertial. Just write about now pseudo force here. Some points regarding this pseudo force. So write that we need to consider pseudo force. Right, point wise. That is the first point. We need to consider the pseudo force only when we are solving the problem. In non-inertial frame. Only when we are solving the problem in non-inertial frame. Next point. The direction of pseudo force is always opposite to the acceleration of the frame of reference. Always opposite to the acceleration of the frame of reference. The third point. The magnitude of pseudo force is equals to the product of mass of the object and acceleration of the frame of reference. Next point, fourth point. The pseudo force is an imaginary force. Experienced only in non-inertial frame. Next point. It is not associated with any agent. It is not associated with any agent means you can't say that who is exerting that force, but you can experience only when you are in non-inertial frame. So that means when we are not saying about this who is exerting that force means just about the Newton's third law for this pseudo force. So that means for the pseudo force you can't find any reaction force there because we don't know who is exerting that force. So that Newton's third law for this pseudo force is immaterial. We can't discuss the Newton's third law for this pseudo force because the agent is not known for this pseudo force there. Only we experience when it is in when you are discussing the problem in non-inertial frame. So now let's see some problems based on this. Then you will get the more clarity about this pseudo force. So, but you should remember this. Pseudo force is considered only when you are solving the problem from non-inertial frame. You should never apply the pseudo force when you are solving from inertial frame. At the same time, you should never forget about pseudo force when you are solving from non-inertial frame. So suppose if you are deciding to solve the problem from non-inertial frame, so first itself represent the pseudo force. Otherwise, you may forget about the pseudo force, right? So that, and after that you can represent the remaining forces. And so now let us take a simple example here. So now I am taking this, a cot is accelerating here. Let us take this, truck is accelerating and a simple pendulum is suspended in this. It is accelerating with acceleration A, right? Now a simple pendulum is suspended in this. It is accelerating with uniform acceleration here and on a like a smooth road, so that there is no any jerk. If such a uniform motion is there, for example, instead of this acceleration, if uniform velocity is there, generally if there is no any disturbance, the bob will be at rest like this in vertical position. But once acceleration is there, the bob will be in this position here. The bob of simple pendulum will remains in this position here. Now suppose this angle is some theta. Now our question is we need to find the theta only. Angle made by the string with the vertical. So write it as a problem. A simple pendulum is suspended in a truck, which is accelerating towards left, towards right, which is accelerating towards right with uniform acceleration A. Find angle made by the string with the vertical in equilibrium. So now you can solve this problem either with respect to inertial or with respect to non-inertial you can find. I will explain both the methods here. So then first inertial frame means, now suppose if you are taking this observer here, an observer is, if you are assuming this observer is standing here, then with respect to him means then it is inertial frame of reference. And if you are considering this an observer is standing inside this truck here, then it is non-inertial frame of reference here. So let us name this as, suppose say A and this is B I am taking here, right? Now with respect to this inertial frame I am solving here. With respect to inertial frame, right? So with respect to inertial frame means with respect to him. So with respect to him, now the bob is accelerating here towards right. So that means now let us draw the free body diagram of this bob now. So that means now here it is the forces acting on this bob are mg acting downwards and tension in the string here. Let us take this tension is making an angle theta with this vertical here. So you can write this, you can resolve this tension into components. Only these are the two forces acting on the bob in inertial frame, right? Under the action of these two forces, the body is in accelerating, the bob is in accelerating motion, accelerating horizontally towards right. Let us resolve this into components here. So this is t cos theta and this is t sin theta. And so now you can write this force equation here. You can write that force equation as t cos theta is equal to mg, you can write, because in vertical direction it is in equilibrium, and you can write the t sin theta value here. So t sin theta is equal to ma, and then you can take the ratio of those two equations here. So then equation 2 by equation 1, therefore this tan theta is equal to a by g, you can write, right? So then that is the angle made here, therefore you can write this theta is equal to tan inverse of a by g. So it is the equation for this expression for this tan theta when you are solving with respect to this inertial frame of reference. Now let us solve the same problem from non-inertial frame of reference. So that means now with respect to non-inertial frame. So with respect to non-inertial frame. So non-inertial frame means with respect to B you can consider here. We are naming that as observer as B. With respect to B, and this is with respect to A you can mention here. Observer A. And so now here again let us draw the free body diagram with respect to that observer B. So that means for the observer B, how that bob appears. So now we are considering that it is not oscillating. The bob is not oscillating here, it is in rest. And so that now here with respect to this observer B, the bob is at rest here. And so that now we can write this as the free body diagram of this mg and this tension. So then those are the two real forces. Now we need to take the additional force, that is our pseudo force. So that pseudo force must be, the direction of that pseudo force is opposite to the acceleration of the frame here. Here frame is nothing but the truck only. So truck is moving towards right. So we should take the pseudo force in opposite direction. And its magnitude is equal to the product of mass of this object and the acceleration of the frame of reference here. So that is now our pseudo force here. And under the action of these forces, we need to resolve this into components and we need to balance this. So this is our pseudo force here. So I am representing it as Fp, that is the pseudo force. And so now I can write this as T, and this is T cos theta and this is T sin theta. And therefore again you can write this equations as 2 sin theta. Now the object is in equilibrium here. The object is at rest. With respect to him, it is at rest, equilibrium. So now we can balance the forces here. And so now if you are balancing these forces, T sin theta is equal to ma and T cos theta is equal to mg, vertical direction. And so now we can again take the ratio of these two equations. Let us take this is 3 and this is 4. Now let us take equation 3 by equation 4. And so that you can write this equation as tan theta is equal to a by g. Or this theta is equal to tan inverse a by g, you can write here. So that is a equation for this. So that means that is the expression for this angle made by the string with the vertical. And so that means you can observe that our result will be same whether you are solving from inertial frame or whether you are solving from non-inertial frame. You will get the same result, right? So you can solve either from inertial frame or you can solve from non-inertial frame. And in some cases, in some problems, it will be easier to solve from the non-inertial frame, or in some problems it may be easy for this. So that means it may be easy if you are solving from inertial frame here, right? So that means but final answer, whether you are solving from inertial or non-inertial, the final answer will be same. And now here we can also solve some other problems based on this. So next write this problem here about the simple pendulum. A simple pendulum is suspended in a truck. Which is moving on a smooth inclined plane. So find angle made by the string with normal to the inclined plane. Find angle made by the string with normal to the inclined plane. When, in that first case, two questions are there. When truck is sliding down with a constant acceleration, and the second question, when the truck is sliding down with uniform velocity v. And here sliding down means whenever any object sliding down the inclined plane, acceleration will be smooth inclined plane, means it will be g sin theta only, right? If any friction is there, then the rolling of these wheels will take place and then you will get some different acceleration. So I said already this inclined plane is smooth inclined plane. Even if you are placing a wheel on that, a sphere on that smooth inclined plane, it will slide only. Sliding only will take place. And so it comes down with the g sin theta, or you may mention that is given in the data, right? Now let us see how to solve these problems. Now I am taking with respect to this non-inertial frame only. So now I am assuming that that means this is making an angle alpha with this normal to the inclined plane, and so I am taking the free body diagram according to that, right? So then here the forces acting on this are, we are resolving the components normal to the inclined plane and parallel to the inclined plane. So now here mg is acting vertically downwards, and the tension is acting along this direction with an angle alpha with this normal to the inclined plane. So then along normal to the inclined plane component will be t cos alpha you will get, and along this direction you will get t sin alpha, and for mg parallel to the inclined plane we know already mg is sin theta, and perpendicular to the inclined plane you will get mg cos theta. And now the pseudo force will be there. Now the pseudo force is the frame of reference is, we are solving in non-inertial frame only. We are taking pseudo force in the sense. So now the frame of reference is all it is sliding down here. That means it is acceleration is down the inclined plane. Now our pseudo force should be upwards, up the inclined plane here, so which is nothing but I am taking here MA, the pseudo force. And now that A is nothing but g sin theta. Now we can substitute that. Now with respect to this observer, that Bob is at rest here. It is in equilibrium only. If your observer is standing in the truck, so with respect to him it is in equilibrium only. And so then in that case what we can write here is mg sin theta plus t sin alpha must be equal to ma. So that is nothing but what I am writing here. So mg sin theta plus t sin alpha is equal to ma, and then this a value we are substituting g sin theta, acceleration of this truck. And so now that mg sin theta and this mg sin theta will be cancelled here, right? And so that you will get this t sin alpha is equal to 0, and from that you can conclude that alpha is equal to 0. So that means alpha is equal to 0 means you need to understand that the string will be, that means the pendulum will be perpendicular to the inclined plane here. So that is I mentioned here, that is perpendicular to the inclined plane. Or you may mention that sometimes they may ask either with perpendicular or sometimes they may ask with the vertical. Is it clear? So you should read the question carefully, whether they are asking angle made by the string with the normal to the inclined plane or with the vertical. So normal to the inclined plane means it will be 0. That indicates the pendulum itself is along normal to the inclined plane. And whereas with the vertical means then it makes an angle theta with the vertical. This normal to the inclined plane means it makes an angle theta with this vertical here, right? So mention that points here clearly. Therefore string makes an angle 0 with the normal to the inclined plane. String makes an angle 0 with the normal to the inclined plane after this. That is, string aligns perpendicular to the inclined plane. String aligns along perpendicular to the inclined plane. And so angle made by the string with the vertical will be, angle made by the string with the vertical will be theta. Theta means same as that of the angle of inclination here, right? So that is theta. And next case is when it is moving with uniform velocity, right? Now let us consider this truck is moving down with some uniform velocity. Uniform velocity means whether you are solving from ground or you are solving from the truck, it will be inertial only. The truck is also now inertial frame only because it is moving with the uniform velocity here. So no need of taking pseudo force here. That is the first point it should note here. It is an inertial frame because velocity is constant means uniform velocity means it is an inertial frame, and so that no need of taking any pseudo force here. So just resolve these forces. I am taking that the forces, the real forces acting on this or mg and the tension in the string here, that is along the string. So again we are assuming that string is making an angle alpha with this normal to the inclined plane we are assuming. So then this is mg sin theta and this is the tension component t sin alpha, t cos alpha, and this is mg cos theta, right? Now again balance these forces here. Here there is no any pseudo force and the body is coming down with the uniform velocity. That means the body is in equilibrium, dynamic equilibrium. We discussed already static equilibrium and dynamic equilibrium. Now it is in equilibrium only. So net force should be 0. So I am balancing these two forces here. So mg sin theta must be equal to t sin alpha, mg cos theta must be equal to t cos alpha. And so now if we balance, if we take the ratio of these two equations, then tan theta is equal to tan alpha you will get, which is nothing but theta is equal to alpha, right? And so that means now it makes an angle same as that of the angle of inclination. So that is nothing but we can conclude that it will be along the vertical. So that vertical only, for this vertical only, that angle you will get same as that of inclined plane. We are resolving like mg if you are considering here. Here if this angle of inclination is theta, this angle is theta. So that means we are taking now alpha is equal to theta means our bob will be like this. So that means bob is along vertical direction here. That is I mentioned here in this final diagram. So that means now here our conclusion is when this theta is equal to alpha means that means in this case the bob will remains, that means the string will aligns along the vertical direction. It remains in the vertical direction. So angle made by the string with the vertical will be 0 and angle made by the string with the normal to the vertical, normal to the inclined plane will be theta, same as that of angle of inclination, right? So mention that points there after this. Therefore theta is equal to alpha, that is angle made by the string with the vertical is theta, sorry, with the inclined plane, with the normal to the inclined plane is theta, with the normal to the inclined plane is theta. That is the string, the pendulum aligns along vertical line. The pendulum aligns along vertical line. Therefore, the angle made by the string with the vertical will be 0. The angle made by the string with the vertical will be 0. And I will give some problems based on this. You can solve those problems here. So like suppose here I am taking like this system here, and this is suppose say let us consider it as a lift accelerating in upward direction. Now this a pulley system is suspended in this. A pulley system is suspended in this. We need to find the tensions here. Suppose say this is a M1 and this is M2, right? So now our question is find the tension in this strings here. Find the tension T here and also find the tension T dash here when the system is accelerating with acceleration A, right? And let us take this for simplicity. I am taking this A is equal to G here, then so that you can solve that easily. So we need to find this tension and this tension. So the only thing is now solve this problem with respect to non-inertial frame. Then it is easy to solve this problem in non-inertial frame here. Just in addition to already you know how to take the free body diagram of this M1 and M2. In addition to that, you need to take additionally this pseudo force. You need to take that on M1, on M2. You need to take the pseudo force. So try that problem. And such a same problem you will get again when you are discussing about the springs. About the spring balance later I will explain. So in spring balance also you will get the same problem. So then if you are solving here, then spring problem will be easy for you. So try that problem there. We need to find a T and a T dash. T means tension in this string and T dash is the tension in the string connecting the pulley to the ceiling. So find those two tensions. Now let us take another question here. Now a block of mass M is placed on this inclined plane here, right? So then here we are pulling it with some force here. This is totally lying on a smooth horizontal surface. This wedge is also movable here, and this is of same mass capital M, and that block is of mass small m, right? So then what should be the force to be applied on the system? Show that the block will remain at rest with respect to the wedge. So write that problem, write this problem. A block of mass m, small m, a block of mass m is placed on a smooth wedge of mass capital M, smooth wedge of mass capital M, which is placed on a smooth horizontal surface. Smooth horizontal surface. Find the force horizontal force. Find the horizontal force to be applied on the wedge. Find the horizontal force to be applied on the wedge so that block remains at rest with respect to the wedge. Remains at rest with respect to the wedge. Right? So that means our block is now at rest with respect to the wedge here. So now suppose what I am assuming here is I am assuming the acceleration of the system as A. If suppose because of this force, let us consider the total system is gaining an acceleration A. Can you say now that F expression can be written as? So here what we are assuming is let A be the acceleration of system. Acceleration of the system, right? And therefore this force to be applied, we can write this as the force to be applied on that system as F plus M into A we can write. Is it clear? Just that net force is equal to MA we are writing. Because for that entire system the horizontal force is F only. And so next year we can write these equations as let us take the free body diagram of the wedge and free body diagram of the block, let us take, and let us write this force equations here. So now I am taking this FBD of this block. So FBD of block. Now we are solving this with respect to this non-inertial frame only. That means now we are, let us consider this an absorber is standing on this block here. So with respect to this block we are writing here free body diagram of block with respect to wedge. That means we are solving in non-inertial frame. So now the forces acting on this are, if I represent this FBD of this block, so can you say the forces acting on this block here? Mg acting downwards on normal reaction in a plane, and we should take pseudo force, right? Because now we are solving with respect to the edge means we should take the pseudo force. Now what is the direction of the pseudo force? Towards left, because our inclined plane frame is accelerating towards left here. So then this will be towards right. Towards left. This is towards right, and so then here it should be towards left. And it is MA. So this is our pseudo force here. And so now let us resolve this into components here. So now I am resolving this into components along the inclined plane and perpendicular to the inclined plane. So then here the angles what we can consider is this is the normal here, and you know this mg makes an angle theta with this normal to the inclined plane, and this angle will be theta. So then you can resolve this into components here. This is MA cos theta, and this will be MA sin theta. Observe this free body diagram clearly here. And these components, mg components we know already. This is mg sin theta will be there along this direction, inclined plane direction. And this will be mg cos theta will be there along this direction. And so now here what we need to write here is, with respect to that wedge, the block is at rest. It is in equilibrium here. With respect to this wedge, the block remains at rest here. That is our situation of this block here. It remains at rest. And so that means now we should balance the forces here. So when you are balancing the forces, first I am balancing along the inclined plane. So that means along the inclined plane. So along inclined plane, you can write this as MA cos theta must be equal to MG sin theta. Is it clear? Because those two forces should balance with each other, then only it will be in equilibrium is possible here. And therefore here what we can write is A is equal to G tan theta. So this is the important expression what you need to remember here. The acceleration of this wedge must be equal to G tan theta. When acceleration of the wedge is G tan theta, then block will remain at rest with respect to the wedge. You need to remember this. You need to remember this acceleration of the wedge required. A is equal to G tan theta. So what is the importance of A is equal to G tan theta? The block will remain at rest with respect to the wedge when acceleration is equal to G tan theta. Acceleration of that wedge is equal to G tan theta. Right? This is the situation when all the surfaces are smooth. When friction is present, we will discuss it later. You will get some different expressions there. So this is the case when the acceleration, all the surfaces are smooth surfaces. Right? So this acceleration you need to remember. And once this acceleration is known to us, you can calculate this force also. That means therefore the force I can write here it as, therefore the force to be applied is equal to F is equal to M plus M into A. That A is nothing but you can substitute that value here. So M plus M into G tan theta you can write. So that is a force to be applied on the system in horizontal direction so that that remains at rest here. So this is a force to be applied. Force to be applied on the system is total mass into that acceleration. So this acceleration is important and you need to remember that expression here. So I will mention some points here regarding this problem. So write them as a note. So write those points as a note here. So first one. So then first condition what we are mentioning here is, if acceleration of the wedge is A is equal to G tan theta. So mention that. If acceleration of the wedge is A is equal to G tan theta, then block will remain at rest with respect to the wedge. Block will remain at rest with respect to the wedge. Then normal reaction acting on the block is given by, so generally our normal reaction means generally we will get mg cos theta, right, when the block is sliding down. But let us see in this problem here. So now this n is nothing but simply from this equation you can calculate here. So that normal reaction is equal to, I can write this as mg cos theta plus ma sin theta. Is it clear? So this is mg cos theta and this is plus ma sin theta, that is also in this direction. So this is the normal reaction. Why I am explaining it specially means sometimes they will ask only about this normal reaction here. So then this is therefore this n is equal to mg cos theta plus m into this a means you can substitute it as g tan theta into sin theta. And so now therefore it is you can simplify this equation here. So then this equation is like, you can write it, you can take it as mg common, and here if you are taking like 1 by cos theta you will get here. If you are taking this LCM, sin theta by cos theta you can write sin square you will get, and if you are taking LCM here cos square you will get. Cos square plus sin square is 1, and denominator that cos theta will be there. Therefore this normal reaction is equal to mg by cos theta. So this is another important expression you need to remember here. So that means in this particular case, the normal reaction acting on this block will be not mg cos theta, it is mg by cos theta you will get, right? So remember this normal reaction expression also. So that is important thing you need to consider here. And the other things what we can mention here is if acceleration is equal to g tan theta, it will remain at rest. If acceleration is less than g tan theta, it will slides down, right? If acceleration is more than g tan theta, then what will happen is the block will slides up here. Just we need to compare these two values, mg sin theta and ma cos theta. So ma cos theta means then here also then you will get like this acceleration value we need to substitute here. So if you are substituting g tan theta value, then both are balancing with each other, so the body will be in equilibrium. When acceleration is more than g tan theta, when acceleration is greater than this means then this value will be larger when compared to this, and so body will slides up here with respect to that wedge. And whereas when this value is less, then with respect to that wedge the body will slides down, right? So then that is the situations what you need to consider there. So write it as the next point. If acceleration is that means that same, write it as the next point. If a is less than g tan theta, then body slides down, then block slides down with respect to the wedge. Block slides down with respect to the wedge with an acceleration of, with the relative acceleration of g sin theta minus a cos theta. This a means whatever the a value they are giving, that value we need to substitute here, right? So that means then that is nothing but here this is ma cos theta term is there. So the resultant force is in downward direction we are saying. So mg sin theta minus ma cos theta by m. So then you will get this acceleration here. And next case is when it is larger. If if acceleration is greater than this, so mention that as the next point there. If acceleration is greater than this g tan theta, if acceleration of the wedge, that is, if acceleration of the wedge is greater than that g tan theta, then block slides up with respect to the wedge. Block slides up with respect to the wedge with a relative acceleration given by a cos theta minus g sin theta. A cos theta minus g sin theta. This case is also important. That means by applying such a larger force, they will ask like what is the time taken by the block to reach the top of this wedge from the bottom. Initially the block is at the bottom. So then what is the time taken to reach the top? So then just that acceleration will be a constant acceleration you will get. Then S is equal to ut plus half a d square you can apply here to find the time taken to reach the top of this wedge. So that L is equal to half into this acceleration we need to take into t square. So from that you can calculate the time taken. So that point is also important, right? So next let us see about this. Some extensions will be there for this. So the extensions in the sense I will take this, I will draw here only. So instead of applying the force here, I am taking this extension like this. So that means now it is connected over a pulley, and this another block is suspended here, right? Let's suppose this mass of this block has some m dash. Now the question is find the m dash so that the block remains, this small block will remain at rest. So mention this, write this problem, write this as the next problem. In the system shown in figure, all surfaces are smooth surfaces. Find the mass of the block m dash. This is capital M dash. Find the mass of the block capital M dash to be suspended so that so that block of mass small m remains at rest with respect to the wedge. Remains at rest with respect to the wedge. If you understand the previous problem, then it's a simply you can solve this. So just here, as I said, you need to remember that acceleration. So that means now again let us take this, the total system is accelerating with acceleration a towards right, and so that this block will slide down with some acceleration here, right? And I am assuming some T is the tension in this string here. T is the tension in this string. And so we know already this acceleration here. So that means we know the acceleration required for this purpose is, so the acceleration of the wedge should be, I am directly taking that acceleration of wedge should be A is equal to g tan theta for this condition to be satisfied. So is it clear? That is already I am taking, as I said, you need to remember that then to keep the system in equilibrium. So then A is equal to g tan theta. Therefore the tension you can write here. What should be the tension in this? For this system now we can apply the force equation. That force is nothing but the tension acting here. So I can write this m plus m into T, A. And so therefore this tension is nothing but m plus m into g tan theta you can write. Is it clear? Now just to take the free body diagram of this m dash here. We know already about this system, we know already in the previous problem. So then just we need to take the free body diagram of this block here. So let us take FBD of, so FBD of m dash. So then if you are taking this FBD of m dash, so then this is the force tension acting here, and m dash into g is downwards. Now it is moving down with acceleration a. Now we are taking with respect to ground only for this m dash. And so now here you can write the force equation for this. The force equation for this you can write this as, I will write here, m dash into g minus t is equal to m dash into a. So therefore this m dash common I am taking, g minus a is equal to t. We know already this g and this a value and t value you can substitute from our calculations here, previous equations. So then this is theta. And a value is nothing but you can write this value as m plus m into g tan theta, and therefore you can write this expression as that g will be cancelled on both sides. So m plus m into tan theta by 1 minus tan theta, right? So that is a equation what we can write there. That means that is the expression for the mass to be suspended in that case. So then such a similar problem will be there. So further extensions may be there, like when the fluids are completed, sometimes they may extend the question like this is suspended in a fluid. What should be the mass of the system when this total it is suspended in a fluid here? Then in addition to these forces what we are suspending, you need to consider that buoyancy force also. So after completion of the fluid mechanics, we can discuss such a type of problems, right? So now I am taking the reverse problem here. So now let us see that. So again let us consider a block is placed on the wedge here. So a block is placed on the wedge. A block of mass m is placed on a wedge of mass m of inclination theta, and which is placed on a smooth horizontal surface here. Now we are applying this force this direction. So now my question is again, what should be the force applied on the wedge such that the block falls freely? The block falls freely. That means its acceleration is g downwards. So write that problem. A block of mass m, small m, is placed on a smooth wedge of mass capital M, as shown in figure. As shown in figure. Find the horizontal force to be applied on the wedge as shown. the horizontal force to be applied on the wedge as shown, such that the block falls freely. The block falls freely, right? And so here again let us assume that acceleration of that wedge is a towards left here. That means in this direction. So I am assuming let a be the acceleration of wedge. So acceleration of wedge is a, right? And therefore similar to our previous problem, now the force to be applied we can write it as, in the previously we assumed that acceleration, from that we mentioned that force as m plus m into a. So now here similarly the force to be applied is, we need to write it as m into a, only m into a, right? We should not include that m, because this small m is not traveling along with this wedge here. In the previous problem it is traveling along with the wedge only. So the total mass of the system will be m plus m. So that there in the previous problem we mentioned that force as m plus m into a. But here it is only this m will move under the action of this force here. This m is moving separately because it is falling freely. It is falling freely means it is not traveling along with this wedge here. Or we can say that it loses the contact with the wedge. Then only it can fall freely, right? And so that we can write this as only F is equal to m, capital M into A we can write. And just to take the free body diagram of this block here, and then you may write the force equations for that. So I am taking the free body diagram of this block. Now the forces acting on this are free body diagram of the block with respect to the wedge. And this is the normal reaction what we can consider here. So this is FBD of block with respect to wedge. We are taking with respect to wedge here, right? And so as we are taking with respect to wedge, now wedge is a non-inertial frame, so we should take the pseudo force. So I am taking this pseudo force like this, MA. Now here this is acceleration is towards left here, so then pseudo force should be towards right. So this is our pseudo force. So that is a pseudo force here. Now the block is falling freely, so let us write this, let us write the equations here. So I am writing this equations as, I can write this as, let us resolve our forces and then write the components here. So then this component is, this is our angle theta here. So I can write this as mg cos theta, our usual resolution of the components here. This is mg sin theta. And now this makes an angle theta here. So this component, MA component will be, this is MA cos theta you will get. And along this direction you will get MA sin theta. Therefore, perpendicular to the inclined plane if I write. So that means perpendicular to the plane. The equation what we can write here is mg cos theta is equal to n plus MA sin theta. So that means let's suppose this is equation 2. But when block falls freely, n should be equal to 0. That means the block is falling freely means the normal reaction for this block should be 0. That means the body, this block should not be in contact with this wedge. Once it is in contact with the wedge, normal reaction is, that means normal reaction is there, then it can't fall freely. That means it's the only force must be on that, and the only force acting on that must be mg only in downward direction, right? And so that then this normal reaction should be 0 here. Once the normal reaction is 0, then you can write this equation as mg cos theta is equal to ma sin theta. Therefore this acceleration a is equal to g cot theta we can write. So then this is another expression you need to remember here. So the previous one is you will get the g tan theta, and here you will get it as g cot theta. So g cot theta means the block falls free, and g tan theta means then the block will remain at rest with respect to the wedge here. And therefore the force we can write it as finally F is equal to mg cot theta. So this is the force to be applied on this system here, right? So this is the force to be applied. So you need to remember these two cases clearly. Mg cot theta, that means g cot theta and g tan theta expressions there. And similar to that previous problem, here also that extension will be there. You can solve it easily. So that extension is nothing but so here now they will suspend the block this side here. So here a block is suspended by using a pulley like this. Now this is M dash here. So write this problem now. In the system shown in figure, all the surface are smooth. In the system shown in figure, all the surface are smooth. Find the value of M dash. Find the value of M dash required so that the small block small m falls freely. Now the same, you can take the acceleration required as g cot theta, and from that you can find the tension in the string. The similar calculations. That means this acceleration required is suppose say a, then it comes down with an acceleration a. Then here this tension is t, you may consider here, so that here tension is t. So we know that acceleration required is g cot theta, right? So this is acceleration required here. I am taking this directly, g cot theta. Now once that g cot theta is known to us, we can write this tension here. So that is nothing but ma. So which is m into g cot theta you can consider here. Then again take the free body diagram for this m dash and then write this equation here. So then FBD of m dash. So then FBD of m dash with respect to the ground only we are taking. This is m dash into g tension. Now under the action of these forces it is moving down with an acceleration a, right? And therefore this m dash into g minus t is equal to m dash into a. And then substitute those values similar to that of our previous calculations, then you will get our m dash value here. So g minus a is equal to t you will get, and therefore it is m dash into g minus g cot theta is equal to, this is mg cot theta, and therefore this is m dash is equal to, that g you can cancel here, m cot theta by 1 minus cot theta you can write. So it is the expression for this m dash required here. So these are some problems based on this pseudo force here. So that means I think you got some clarity about this. So whenever you are solving this non-inertial frame, so you need to consider that pseudo force, right? So the pseudo force we need to consider only in non-inertial frame. Its direction is opposite to that of acceleration of the frame of reference, and then the magnitude will be mass into acceleration of that frame of reference you need to write here. The body may accelerate with some acceleration, that is not required for us. The acceleration of frame of reference, mass into acceleration of frame of reference you need to write. Is it clear? So then practice the problems based on this. Right. Thank you.